In 2025, your phone is more than a device. It is a pocket-sized window into your life. You use it for messages, banking, photos, and work. You trust it, and you should. But there are ways your phone can be compromised without anyone ever touching it. No thief in your living room, no stolen handset. Just invisible threats that reach across the air. This documentary is about those invisible threats. How they work, who uses them, and most importantly, how to stop them. This is for awareness and education only. We do not provide or support any illegal activity. The goal is simple: keep you safe. Phones connect to the world in many ways. Cell towers, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, apps, and cloud services. Each connection is a potential doorway. Sometimes the attackers are opportunists. Sometimes they are organized criminals. Sometimes governments play in the same shadows. The methods have names that sound technical, but at their core, they all rely on one thing: access. If someone can get access to your phone's data, they can watch, listen, steal, or manipulate. In the earliest scenes, we see how small mistakes become big problems. A public Wi-Fi login, a Bluetooth pairing in a cafe, a malicious app disguised as useful software. Each is a tiny choice. Each can let an unseen attacker step inside. We will follow 3 threads. First, how wireless networks and public endpoints expose devices. Second, how apps, permissions, and cloud sync turn private info into shared files. Third, how emerging technologies like the Internet of Things and AI widen the attack surface. At every step, we'll show real-world examples and practical defenses, because prevention is not paranoia. It's preparation. Let's begin. Phones broadcast signals constantly. They handshake with towers and routers without fanfare. That constant chatter is usable data, if you know how to listen. Public Wi-Fi looks convenient. Coffee shops, airports, hotels, free internet everywhere. But convenience comes at a cost. An attacker can set up a fake hotspot that looks real. People join, thinking it's the coffee shop's network. Once connected, the attacker can monitor traffic passing through that hotspot. Sensitive pages may still be encrypted, but many apps and services leak metadata, images, or login tokens. Those fragments can reveal a lot: accounts, email addresses, location patterns. Then there's the more subtle risk: unsecured routers. Many home and small business routers ship with default passwords or outdated firmware. A compromised router can redirect traffic to malicious sites without the user ever realizing. Even mobile data can be intercepted. False cell towers, known as MSI catchers or stingrays, mimic legitimate towers. They convince phones to connect and then observe or degrade traffic. Law enforcement sometimes uses these tools for a reason. But in the wrong hands, they become spying devices sold on underground markets. Bluetooth is another doorway. It pairs devices for headphones, smartwatches, and car systems. If left discoverable, Bluetooth can accept connections from unknown devices. That's how a device in close range can be probed without physical contact. It happens fast, in a coffee shop line, in a parking lot, or at a conference. Then there's malware hidden in apps. Official app stores are safer than third-party sources, but they are not perfect. Malicious apps sometimes slip through review processes or impersonate legitimate apps. An app with excessive permissions can read contacts, messages, and even the microphone. Some apps request access they don't need, and users grant it without thinking. The supply chain matters too. If a popular SDK or ad library is compromised, every app that uses it could become a delivery vehicle for malware. That scales an attack from one device to millions overnight. Finally, consider push notifications and links. A single malicious link sent over SMS, messaging apps, or email can start a chain that exposes data. You don't need to click a link to be affected. In some cases, vulnerabilities in a messaging app itself can be exploited when a specially crafted message is received. All of these methods share one tactic: they exploit trust. Our phones are designed to be convenient, and convenience is trust made simple. Attackers abuse that trust. Not all attacks are loud. Some are silent and patient. In one case, a business executive received a calendar invite with a short URL. He didn't click. but the invite contained a tracking token that allowed the sender to monitor whether he opened the message, at what time, and from what IP range. It was a reconnaissance tool, small, invisible, and useful for later targeting. In another example, a courier-style phishing tactic targeted drivers. A fake delivery alert included a malicious image that exploited a vulnerability in the phone's gallery app. Opening the image alone was enough to trigger code that seeded a spyware payload. Once a device is infected, attackers can extract backups, messages, and photos. They can watch your location in real time. They can listen when you think your phone is idle. Some spyware targets high-value victims, journalists, activists, corporate executives. Others target everyday users to harvest financial credentials and build identity profiles to sell. There are entire industries built around harvested phone data. Identity brokers compile profiles and sell to fraud rings. Access to a single phone can lead to bank accounts, loyalty points, and financial life details. The rise of mobile banking made phones powerful targets. Two-factor authentication often runs through SMS or app codes. If an attacker can intercept those messages, account security is compromised. That's why attackers use techniques like SIM swapping. They socially engineer carriers into transferring a victim's number to a device they control. Suddenly, two-factor codes land in the attacker's hands. SIM swapping relies on human weak points, social engineering, call center lapses, and convincing identification. It's not about technical prowess alone. It's manipulation. This is also where the dark web plays a role. Marketplaces sell stolen phone credentials, SIM porting services, and social engineering guides. Access traded as a commodity fuels more attacks. Modern phones sync data constantly. Messages, photos, contact lists, and documents float to the cloud. That convenience stores a copy of everything off device. Cloud backups solve problems, but they also create central targets. A compromised cloud account means access to years of private information. Attackers sometimes bypass phones altogether and go straight for cloud credentials. Phishing techniques have become sophisticated. Attackers craft realistic login pages that mimic services you use daily. When credentials are entered, they're captured instantly. Multi-factor authentication helps, but not all MFA is equal. App-based authenticators and hardware keys are more secure than SMS, yet many users still rely on SMS for convenience. In some cases, credentials exposed on the dark web are paired with device identifiers. That allows automated systems to attempt logins, bypassing some protections through sheer volume and timing. Then there's the hidden danger of third-party services. Your phone may rely on small companies for SMS notifications, analytics, or cloud storage. If one of those services is breached, thousands of downstream users are at risk. Many incidents in 2024 and 2025 involved attackers breaching a vendor and pivoting to client accounts. This is a supply chain breach for the phone era. Newer threats are emerging with the Internet of Things. Your phone talks to smart locks, security cameras, and even your car. Those connections expand the surface attackers can exploit. A smart device with a weak password or an open port can act as a bridge. Attackers exploit the bridge to probe connected phones. You might never see a direct attack on your phone, but the pathway is there. Vehicle systems are particularly worrying. Modern cars are rolling networks of sensors and infotainment systems. A compromised car can leak location, unlock doors, or become a surveillance device. And then there's proximity-based hacking, near-field communication, QR code interactions, and Bluetooth Low Energy all allow useful features. But when misused, they enable silent attacks in crowded places. Imagine a stadium full of phones. An attacker walks through, broadcasting an exploit to devices with a certain vulnerability. A few minutes later, a small percentage of devices are infected, quietly and without contact. That scenario used to be fiction. Now it's a classroom lesson for security teams. Another modern vector is supply chain compromise at the hardware level. Phones are assembled with components from global suppliers. Firmware and baseband software are complex and proprietary. If a malicious module is introduced early in the production chain, it can be nearly impossible to detect. Backdoors at hardware or firmware layers can persist through resets and software updates. Governments and researchers have shown proof of concept attacks where baseband firmware is manipulated to leak data. These attacks are rare and expensive, but their consequences are profound. Then there's the aftermarket ecosystem, chargers, cables, and accessories. Malicious chargers can attempt to exploit the USB interface when a phone is connected. That's a physical attack vector, but it doesn't require stealing the phone, just a brief connection. Even so-called juice-jacking attacks are more exotic than common. The majority of everyday threats are social or software-based, but hardware-level risks remind us that security must be layered. Emerging AI tools change the attack landscape. AI speeds reconnaissance, automates social engineering, and refines phishing campaigns. Instead of mass spam, attackers generate targeted messages that mimic a trusted colleague's tone. They use public posts and prior conversations to craft believable context. I can also analyze app behavior to find unusual permission requests or timing patterns. That makes malicious apps harder to spot because they behave more like legitimate apps. On the defensive side, AI helps too. Security teams use machine learning to detect anomalies in network traffic and app behavior. It's a race of tools, defensive models versus offensive models. One worrying trend is synthetic content used to manipulate victims. Deepfake voices, fake video calls, and automated impersonations make verification harder. A convincing voicemail from a known contact can prompt users to follow instructions they would otherwise ignore. That's social engineering on steroids. And it's surprisingly effective, so who are the attackers? The list is long. From lone opportunists to organized cybercrime syndicates, from corporate espionage units to nation-state actors, organized crime targets financial gain, they monetize access, sell credentials, and launder proceeds through crypto. Nation-states pursue intelligence, surveillance, and strategic disruption. Their tools are often more sophisticated, sometimes bordering on capabilities once reserved for intelligence agencies. Hacktivists pursue political goals. Their campaigns are noisy and dramatic, seeking attention as much as impact. And then there are mercenaries, teams for hire who sell access and skills to the highest bidder. They operate in the gray markets of the internet. What unites them all is this: phones are valuable. They hold identity, money, social contact, and business access. Compromise a phone and you compromise a life. This sounds bleak, but the reality is that most attacks are preventable. Defenses exist and most are practical. First, think of your phone as a small computer, not a magic object. Keep its software updated. Updates patch vulnerabilities that attackers rely on. Second, lock what matters. Use strong, unique passcodes and prefer biometric unlock combined with PINs. Enable device encryption where available. Third, MFA matters. Use app-based authenticators or hardware security keys for critical accounts. S is better than nothing, but less secure than app or hardware options. Fourth, be cautious with public Wi-Fi. Use a reputable VPN when you must connect to public networks. Avoid financial transactions on open networks. Fifth, manage app permissions. Only grant what's necessary. If an app asks to read messages, camera, or microphone without a clear reason, deny it. Sixth, monitor your accounts. Set alerts for unusual logins and review connected devices. If something looks off, remove access tokens and change passwords. Seventh, protect your phone number. Contact your carrier and add a PIN or passcode to your account to prevent SIM porting. Ask about carrier-level security measures. Eighth, separate work and personal life where possible. Use dedicated devices or profiles for sensitive work tasks. Limit crossover of critical accounts to personal apps. Ninth, backup wisely. Keep encrypted backups and test restorations. Remember, cloud backups can be sources of exposure. Secure those accounts with strong MFA. 10th, practice safe sharing. Don't overshare personal details online that could be used for social engineering. Be skeptical of urgent requests for codes or confirmations. 11th, keep IoT devices updated and segmented on separate networks. Don't allow smart devices to sit on the same subnet as critical phones and computers. Finally, when in doubt, disconnect. Airplane mode or turning off connectivity can stop many attacks in progress. If a device behaves oddly, isolate it and seek professional help. There are organizational steps too. Companies should adopt mobile security policies and endpoint management. Educate employees about phishing, suspicious links, and device hygiene. Adopt zero-trust principles. Assume every connection is hostile until proven safe. Use VPNs, limit permissions, and enforce least privilege access. Regularly test systems with penetration testing and threat hunting exercises. Find the gaps before attackers exploit them. For executives and high-risk individuals, consider specialized protections, secure phones, hardware tokens, and private communication channels. For journalists and activists, look into hardened operating systems and verified secure messaging platforms. Law enforcement and industry partnerships are critical. Reporting breaches quickly helps contain damage and reduce reuse of stolen data. Coordination between carriers, platforms, and authorities can disrupt attack chains. The future is complex. As phones become more powerful, they also become more valuable. New wireless standards, satellite connectivity, and edge computing will expand possibilities and risks. Quantum-resistant cryptography, better hardware attestation, and stronger identity models may shift the balance in years to come, but that won't erase today's landscape. Security remains a human problem. Technology helps, but people decide whether to click, grant access, or ignore an update. This documentary is not meant to alarm without purpose. It's a call to action. Protect your device the way you protect your home. Lock the doors, check the windows, and don't invite strangers inside. Phones are intimate technology. They deserve layered defenses, because when your phone is secure, your life is safer. When your phone is compromised, the consequences rip beyond the device. Every prevention step you take makes an attacker move on to an easier target. In 2025, the most powerful security is not the most expensive tool. It's the most consistent habit. This film is for education and awareness only. We do not provide instructions for wrongdoing. If you suspect your device is compromised, contact professionals, your carrier, or local authorities. Protect your data, protect your privacy, and teach the people around you to do the same. The invisible attacks are real, they are evolving, but so are our defenses. Stay alert, stay updated, and keep your devices under your control. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to TrueVerve for more investigations into the hidden risks of our connected world. Turn on notifications, because what you don't see can still affect everything you do.